Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. I'm Pinky Webb. Today on the program, after getting the green light to resume operations, Senator wants to stop POGOs from making a comeback amid the COVID-19 crisis. Overseas Filipinos raising a howl over the new PhilHealth premium hike. An online petition is gaining support from OFWs to stop the new policy from taking effect. What else can government do to help millions of workers affected by the COVID-19 pandemic? Senate Committee Chair on Labor and Employment, Senator Joel Villanueva, joins us live. And yet another silver lining in the midst of the crisis. After years of trying to be heard, a blind singer gains online popularity through quarantine karaoke. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque defends the government's decision to allow Philippine offshore gaming operators, or POGOs, to reopen amid the quarantine. Roque supports the position of PAGCOR chairperson Andrea Domingo that POGOs are like business process outsourcing, or BPO companies. And since BPO companies are allowed to operate during quarantine while following health protocols, then POGO entities should also reopen. But the IT Business Process Association of the Philippines insists that POGO is not part of their BPO world. POGO companies, in a statement, the group says BPOs employ mostly Filipinos and needs higher value skills. POGO companies usually hire more foreign nationals in their workforce. Right now, data shows that POGO employs 90,000 foreign nationals and about 30,000 Filipinos. Some senators question the government's decision to allow POGOs from resuming operations. Let's go straight to the source of the story. We have Senate Labor Committee Chairman Joel Villanueva. Senator, welcome to the show.
Hi, good morning, and it's good to be back. God bless.
Thank you for your time, Senator. First of all, I just wanted to ask you, was it right for POGOs or for the government to reopen POGOs?
Well, we're still questioning, and up to this time, I still don't see any logic as to why we are going to open this particular sector, considering the high risk that we will be taking in case we open this up. Another issue, or a lot of issues hounding the sector, is obviously because of the inability of a lot of these companies to pay their taxes. For example, in our latest hearing, the Bureau of Internal Revenue admitted that there are about 50 billion pesos unpaid taxes just for last year. And another thing is that they have been hiring a lot of illegal workers. Just last year, for instance, the Department of Labor and Employment apprehended about 6,678 illegal foreign workers. And these workers are actually working in PAGCOR accredited POGOs. So this is not something that we could say that is okay and they should continue doing. Of course, you have the issue of prostitution, you have the issue of criminal activities spiking, and a lot of that. So again, at this point in time, we don't see any reason right now to proceed or continue the operation of POGO.
You enumerated, Senator Joel Villanueva, the problems hounding the POGO industry, such as alleged criminal activities, non-payment of taxes amounting to about 50 billion pesos, prostitution, dens allegedly also, and illegal workers and immigration problems as well. So why even begin to reopen POGOs if there are so many problems surrounding this particular industry?
Well, that's exactly our point. In fact, even before the this pandemic, we have been saying we have to assess and reassess this scheme. For instance, if PAGCOR is actually asking for the reopening of POGOs, why not go after first? As they admitted, there are about 120 to 200 illegal POGOs operating. Just recently in Parañaque, 44 illegal workers were apprehended, and according to them, they are operating illegally. So meaning to say, they don't have any license or being accredited by PAGCOR. But in the past, there are so many PAGCOR accredited POGOs operating with, again, numbers don't lie, 6,678 illegal workers were apprehended.
Senator, you know, the government defends the reopening of POGOs by saying that they actually fall under the BPO industry. Sir, do they?
I'm sorry?
Government is defending the opening of POGOs, the reopening of POGOs, saying that they fall under the BPO industry, sir. Do they fall under the BPO industry?
Definitely not. In fact, the IT BPO already made a statement. And just to add to what they have already stated, BPO is under PEZA and the Bureau of Investments. POGO is under PAGCOR, which we believe up to this time is not doing their job as our chief gaming regulator. If you look at the performance of BPO, just last year they were able to remit $22.4 billion. $22.4 billion. And if you look at the local employment generated by BPO, you're talking just last year, it's 1.33 million. 1.33 million workers. These are full-time equivalent workers. While if you look at POGOs, I have here with me, Pinky, a list of companies in POGO. They are service providers, and if you look at companies from, for example, this Jin Shenglong Business Support Incorporated, 4,139 workers but zero Filipino workers. Lahat po ng nakikita niyong kumpanya dito, walang Pilipino na nagtatrabaho. From the 4,000, 3,483, the Big Emperor Technology, Jindungyan, and I can go on and on. Lahat po ito, lahat po ng kumpanya na ito, zero Filipino worker. So again, I don't see any logic, Pinky, if we wanted to restart our economy and we say that we need to look at the sector, or if you look at the sectoral approach, wala pong nakikreate na jobs ang sector na ito. And another thing, one last thing, Pinky, in our hearing last time, the last hearing that we conducted, the AMLA, the BSP, Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, stated that 0.04% of the net financial inflow in our GDP for the past 3 years, 0.04%, yan po ang contribution ng POGO sa ating ekonomiya. So again, hindi po nag-aambag o hindi po malaking sektor ng pag-aambag ang binibigay ng POGO industry. And most of all, I think it's very high risk because they are operating in buildings and condominiums. Yan po yung concern natin. Pagka nagkaroon ng outbreak na nanggaling dyan sa POGO, it is still this government ang gagastos, ang mamumroblema, and taxpayers' money ang gagastosin na naman dito. And yung gagastosin po is far, far more than what they are remitting or contributing in our economy.
Senator, help me understand a situation wherein government says that, in particular, POGOs fall under the BPO industry. I do know that the Information Technology and Business Process Association of the Philippines, as you mentioned a while ago, is really basically disowning POGOs as part of the BPOs. Sir, ang tanong ko po, sino ho ba ang nagde-decide kung ang isang particular industry falls under where?
Well, that is also our question, Pinky, and that's why we are confused, we are bewildered and concerned about this decision that the interagency task force according to the PAGCOR chair or the PAGCOR chair decided upon. Because if you look at the setup in itself, again, the PEZA and the Bureau of Investments ay very strict po yan. Alam natin sa pagre-regulate at pagsisigurado ng napoprotektahan ng ating mga workers, they comply with the occupational safety and health standards, etc. Now, if you look at the POGO sector, Pinky, we have heard so many instances. Like again, no, when you talk about yung pagiging pasaway nitong mga taga-POGO industry. In 2019, just last year, 1,338 foreign nationals were deported by the Bureau of Immigration. 733 of these foreign nationals were fugitives. Nabalitaan din natin yung mga na-raid ng mga POGO companies na mismong sa China ay bawal. Kaya ang Chinese government, ang embassy pa, ang tumutulong sa atin para tukuyin sila. Because dun sa operation na yun, 3 fugitive naman ang nahuli. So again, hindi ko po nakikita yung reason, and I think it's a slap in the face of the BPO sector to say that BPO and POGO are actually the same.
You know, Senator, I heard you say a while ago that, PAGCOR is not doing their job, sir. There is an oversight function of Congress, isn't there? So if as you say, PAGCOR is not doing their job, ano ang dapat gawin sa kanila?
Well, Pinky, we are on our last leg of the committee hearing being conducted by not just the Committee on Labor and the Human Resources Development. It's a joint committee with the Committee on Trade and Industry and I think Social Justice. And we are on our last hearing, supposed to be before this pandemic. And we are actually ready to report it out in the plenary so that we'll be able to do our part and function and exercise our oversight function.
Right. But Senator, let me just add this. If there's such grave concern about the opening of POGOs right now, and nag-umpisa na po yan, and ang hearing niyo po, ang resumption po ng Congress ay ngayong araw, baka hindi kaya magtagal bago may magawa ang mga senador or ang mga congressman to counter or siguro to stop this POGO operation. Let me just be very brief about this. Senator Risa Ontiveros wants filed a resolution to ban POGOs, sir. Is this something that you will support? And how can you jumpstart or pabilisin po ito?
Well, we have seen enough, Pinky. And in fact, if you would ask me personally, I was ready to finish the committee hearing, the last committee hearing, and report it out in the plenary. But some of our colleagues, as I mentioned earlier, this is a joint committee hearing, and some of my colleagues were asking for another hearing. PAGCOR is also asking for another hearing because they couldn't put their acts together. Because, Pinky, even during that hearing, I'd like to report to you that in that particular hearing, the data being given to us by PAGCOR and the data being given to us by the DOLE, which by the way gives the alien employment permit, and the data being given to us by the inter-agency task force are all different. And so, which is which? No, that's what we have been asking. And so they asked for another hearing. But let me just give you one example. There is this one particular agency, Pinky. Company, Great Empire Gaming Amusement Corporation. PAGCOR submitted in the committee that they have 3,086 foreign workers. The interagency task force consists of DOLE, of Bureau of Immigration, PAGCOR, etc. They submitted 8,610. The difference, Pinky, is 5,524. 5,524. And this particular company, the Great Empire Gaming Amusement Corp, meron silang unpaid taxes na 1.3 billion. Nahuli po sila. Ngayon, dun sa unpaid taxes na 1.3 billion, nagkaroon ng pag-uusap ang BIR, and so nag-commit sila na magbabayad na. Ngayon, Pinky, they are in operation. They are in operation. Nabalik po yung kanilang accreditation at nag-operate sila. Another company is GEGAC. They already paid 250 million para i-settle yung kanilang unpaid taxes again. Ang unpaid taxes po nila is 1.050 billion pesos. In 3 separate payments, yun po yung commitment nila. So ngayon, na-restore na naman din sila na nag-ooperate.
Siguro,
my only point, Pinky, is that this particular industry, napakadami ng pinakita sa atin na hindi sila sumusunod. Kahit ganitong quarantine, nag-ooperate sila. Now, we are giving them this VIP treatment na buksan sila and forget about the high risk na may nakumalat itong virus na ito at tayo na naman ang gagastos.
Okay. Senator, we need to take a very short break. After when we come back, we'll talk about this petition. There's an online petition, Senator, against the mandatory PhilHealth rate hike for overseas Filipino workers. We're going to talk about that after the break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. And we have Senator Joel Villanueva on the line. Senator, let me just jump into the workers' aid. We'll talk about the universal health care another time. Punta po tayo dun sa workers' aid. Employees have had no income the past 45 days, sir. Yung DOLE po has actually stopped its cash aid program to employees in the formal sector dahil nga nag-balloon po yung mga number na humingi ng pera, although they did say that they've given out so much, an amount to so many members in the formal, employees in the formal sector. Sir, just plain and simple, how can we help the employees, especially, sir, in the enhanced community quarantine dahil wala pa rin pong trabaho ang karamihan?
Well, first of all, Pinky, I'd like to say that we will look into that petition that you were talking about on PhilHealth. Secondly, about this particular question, you talk about the CAMP or the COVID Adjustment Measures Program, the tulong panghanap buhay, the tupad program of DOLE. They are because if you look at the utilization rate, 98%, 93%, it's okay. But yung AKAP, yung abot kamay ang pagtulong for OFWs, nasa yung latest report is 15.1% lang yung accomplishment. So we need to push and make sure that our POLOs, yung Philippine Overseas Labor Office, ay patuloy na ginagawa yung tungkulin nila para matulungan yung mga OFWs. Having said that, you made mention about the depleted budget. If you look at the budget that they requested, it's 7.8 billion. Ang na-release pa lang is 4.2 billion. So there's about 3 more billion na pwede pang makatulong. No? Ang problema, hindi pa rin nare-release. Yung DOLE din, umaaray na. We have been helping them to asking the Department of Budget and Management to release para makatulong at mas maraming matulungan na ating mga kababayan. Doon sa mga workers na hindi naman na-cover nitong tatlong binanggit ko, meron po tayo doon sa Department of Finance, 50.8 billion po ang nilaan doon sa Small Business Wage Subsidy. Pwede po mag-apply sila. Opo, sa formal sector po yan, mga SMEs. Unfortunately, Pinky, if you look at also the report, yung latest was given to us a couple of days ago. 115,000 employees pa lang ang nakakatanggap ng first tranche. The target is 3.4 million. So, sana bumilis po. At unfortunately, for quite some time, nag-down din yung portal SSS. So,
that's right, sir.
Ngayon,
I was going to tell you that.
Opo, in-extend na po nila yung application up to May 8 until May 8.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that in, sir, just very quickly because kailangan pumunta sa SSS yung MSME pero nag-down yung kanilang website so nagkakaroon ng problema. Really, the problem is may pera pero sabi ng gobyerno may pera, may 51 billion pesos for the MSME but they can't seem to get that money or even apply for that. But anyway, sir, I hope these are the things that will be tackled in the Senate as you resume session. Senator Joel Villanueva, sir, maraming salamat po. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Minnie. God bless.
And an American singer is capturing the hearts of people across the world. She's gaining fans through quarantine karaoke and breaking down walls as a blind female musician. CNN affiliate Emily Goodall reports.
In these trying times, 29-year-old Samantha Wyatt is bringing joy to people across the world.
Always stay humble and kind.
After years of trying to be heard,
There's something happening here.
she took to a Facebook group called Quarantine Karaoke and posted her first video.
I do it anyway.
She thought she'd maybe get a few likes, maybe a few comments.
Honestly, I was not expecting to see what I saw when I woke up the next day. Hundreds. On that first video. Ever since then, it's just been nothing but lovely comments.
Hasn't always been this way.
You don't know how lucky you are.
Things have been hard.
The blindness, least of the problems. I was born with a defect in the middle of my brain.
That affects all her hormones and her sleep.
My brain is going to sleep when it wants to sleep and be awake when it wants to be awake, and I'm just along for the ride. I have tried every way to be what other people deem normal-looking member of society.
This is the first time people are really listening to her. She's auditioned for American Idol and The Voice.
No, 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 no. It's the way I look. It's the blindness. It makes people sad. There's not one blind woman in the mainstream music industry.
But now, thousands of people across the world are saying yes. And thank you.
If you asked me 2 months ago if I imagined doing this,
I need a breath. My heart is pounding. My legs are shaking.
and it being the reaction we got,
This group has been so wonderful in this time.
I'd be like, no, you're crazy.
Her family says it's magical that someone who's lived her whole life in complete darkness
I close my eyes.
can bring so much light.
You are my sunshine.
Reporting in Yakima, Emily Goodell, Cap KVU Local News.
And thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.
River that drowns the tender reed. Some say love